Good morning, everybody. So, people who are online, please keep yourself muted. And who are here, please come forward. In the back, please come forward. Still, there are some rooms. Okay. So, online people, can you hear me and can you see my screen? Okay, I see there are 27 people online. So, let us start our lecture this morning. Good morning, everybody. So, in our last lecture, okay, I give an announcement that you will have your test 1 that will cover module 1 to 3, that will be on September 14. We have not decided yet how the test will be conducted, but you will need a webcam. Even if you take the test here in this room, you will have to use your own laptop, and that has a webcam, working webcam. Okay, please be prepared. Okay, and you will need a response lockdown browser in the within the what is that quizzes. You will see that there is a response lockdown browser quiz. Just complete the quiz, then it will help you. It will guide you to set up the response lockdown browser. That's okay. Before the test, complete the response lockdown browser quiz in D12. Okay, and in our test 1, we will cover module from 1 to 3 until selection structure. Okay, so in our last lecture, I discussed implicit and explicit typecasting with some codes and some a demo program. Yes, you have a question? There is no screen. Okay, thank you so much, but it's okay. Now it is okay? Okay, thank you. So in our last lecture, I discussed this implicit and explicit typecasting. I spent about 10 minutes with a demo program. So please practice that, okay? And so let us go to our schedule page again. So according to our schedule, on 14 of this month, you will have your test 1. Test 1 will cover module 1 to 3. We have not decided yet how the test will be conducted. We will decide by next week, and I will make announcement. In D12, please keep your eyes in D12, okay? And you will need a webcam. Even you take the test here in this room, you will need to bring your own laptop that has a webcam. Okay, and in the D12, you will see there is a quiz. It's called Respondents Lockdown Browser Setup Quiz. You have to take the quiz before you prepare. Take the test at the state. Okay, okay, that will help you to set up lockdown browser. Lockdown browser means while taking the test, you are not allowed to go to Google search or do anything else to open another page. Okay, another document, and your quizzes are open book. And all quizzes except the first quiz, I mentioned that all quizzes have only single attempt. Okay, only single attempt, one attempt. So, but if you don't worry, so one of your lowest test quiz grade will be dropped automatically. So yeah, you will be given one chance to do a mistake. Okay. So in our last program, I discussed this explicit and implicit typecasting with a demo program. Anyone has any question about that? Explicit and implicit typecasting. This one typecasting, I discussed this program in with I discussed this with Java, and almost similar same thing in C++ and C#. Okay, that was a part of my homework that I'm giving. I did not convert this in C# and Java. This is simple, same thing, just convert these few things. The print statement. Okay, please practice this. If needed, I will get it back in next lecture. Okay, and then after that, what else I discussed? I discussed statement structure, this module 3. Okay. Okay, the selection statement we discussed. Like we told you that there, unless otherwise statement, all of the unless otherwise declared or defined, okay, all of the statement in a program are executed from the beginning, from top to bottom, one by one. And sometimes we may need to decide to skip one statement or jump from one place to another place. Okay, that we call selection statement. There are two actually main types, if and switch statements. So if has two extended version, if else and if else if. So we discussed that if statement, this works with a Boolean condition. Boolean expression gives either true or false value, right? So we discuss logical operators, relational operators that find the relation between two operands. Okay, or the operands, that means the either an expression, another expression, or some data value or some variable. So here it asks you all relational operator, ask you a question. Okay, so this for this one is 5 greater than 3. So ask a question. Okay, so if it is true, if it is yes, then we say true result. In Boolean, true. In natural language, yes. And if it is no, in natural language, if answer is no in natural language, for instance, this one is 6 not equal to 6, we know that 6 equal to 6, right? So then this is no, result is no, that means false in Boolean. Okay, so all relational operator expression will ask you a question, and based on the question you will find a result either true or false. And then we also discuss logical operators that works like the logic gates. There are 3 like basic logic gates: OR gate, AND gate, and NOT gate. We discussed this circuit in our last lecture. Okay, so logical operators are sometimes called in pseudocode we say AND, or we say OR. Okay, but in our program we will say, but in pseudocode we say OR, AND, or NOT. Okay, so this is the maybe we discussed in our last lecture. So this is for AND, means there is a circuit that has parallel switches. In order to be true of an AND operation, all input must be true. Okay, and in order to be false of an OR operation, okay, all must be false. Okay, so please look at this. In our last lecture, I discussed using circuit, and we discussed that this is actually the entire thing here. Whatever I have selected over here, you see the entire thing here is a single Boolean expression. The entire thing will give us either true or false result. So based on the result here, the selected part, either true or false, our program will decide whether this statement will be executed or not. If the selected part, this part gives us true result, then this statement will be executed. Otherwise, it will be skipped. Okay, this is the format of logical. So the selection if statement. In natural language, we say if then, and in pseudocode we say if then. You see that in pseudocode all in our uppercase and end if. So in your pseudocode writing format, if you miss end if, then you will lose point. Okay, this is the ending point. Okay, so I like you to practice so like this kind of expression, like draw a chart table like this and try to understand this. Okay, and this is the precedence of arithmetic and comparison of operators. So arithmetic, comparison, and logical operator precedence. The precedence, that means which operator will be executed first. Arithmetic operators has higher precedence than comparison, that means relational operator or logical operator and logical operators. In all three languages, C++, Java, and C#, these are the same. So in operator precedence, that means you have to, this is very simple, like in the middle school math, right? Not even high school math, right? So you should be able to find the solution of this, right? In your test, if you were given an expression like this, you should be able to calculate it accurately without using any calculator. In your test, you will not be allowed to use any calculator, okay? This is a simple math. You are not allowed to use any calculator in the test. Can you please come forward? Okay, and then noted for indentation. Indentation means I will show you we use braces in C++, Java, and C#, but there are some languages like Python, Scala, F#. They do not use braces, but they use indentation. Python and F#. Okay, this is the block diagram for if statement, right? So there is a condition. If the condition is true, whenever you see a diamond, that will see it will check it for a condition. It checks for a condition. Okay, this is a Boolean condition, and if will give you either true or false result. If it is true, then we execute this statement, and if it is false, then we go out of this statement. We skip this statement and we go next. It's straightforward, right? Anyone has any question? Okay. And we discuss in pseudocode format, you need to write then. Okay, if you miss then if you lose point, you may lose point. The grader may catch it. You may lose point, or grader may skip it. I don't know. That is the grading policy now. For what you need, you should use this then. Okay. Only in pseudocode format, but okay, one thing that here in this is a pseudocode to convert, okay, Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit. So in pseudocode format, we usually use this back arrow, but when you write your pseudocode in your test on a piece of paper, just you can use equal sign. That's good, okay? Writing equal sign, it should be good. You don't need to give this back arrow. Okay, just give the right equal sign, is fine. Okay, so because sometimes people earlier people did mistake that they hit on the back arrow on the browser, and it went to the back to the browser. Okay, don't be misled using this. Okay, and for instance, this is the logical operator, greater or equal to. There is no space in between this. There is no space in between this. So when you write your hand for your handwriting course, but you will not be writing hand written code here in test. But whatever you do, so be careful. Okay, do not give any space. If it is one space, it should be skipped. in general, but if there is there's a number of spaces, right? It's obviously it is noticeable that there is, you give a space. Okay, that it does not work. Okay, so the best way to catch these mistakes, this kind of mistakes, okay, so is to practice programming. If you practice programming, when you write your code, you will do some mistake definitely. Then you will get an error message, then try to, don't be panic with the error message, and try to remember the error message, and then fix it. Then you will get, what is that called, a lesson, that you will not do that kind of mistake again. Okay, so in our last lecture we discussed this, and I asked you to practice this program. Okay, like this kind of program. What is mean by read over here? Anyone can tell me? Yes. Yes, so you need to do user input, right? Okay, in our in one of the previous lecture I discussed how to read data value from keyboard in C++, in C# and Java, right? You need to use that code over here, so it is abstract over here. Okay, we are not giving more emphasis over here, so maybe you need to write two other statements over here. Actually, you see that this is not a complete program, right? This is not a complete program. This code will go into your main method. Okay. Okay, and okay, so here the if, this is the if condition statement, or condition over here. Okay, so this will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute this statement. If it is false, then it does not say here what will happen here. It does not say anything, right? So in order to do what will happen if the condition is false, then we use if else statement. So else says what will happen if the condition is false, is not true. This statement will be executed. So for if else, only either this block or this block will be executed, not both. Understand? So it is like a coin. If you toss a coin, you will get either head or tail, right? Not both. So this is the if-else condition flowchart. So if the condition is true, then it will go this block 1. If the condition is false, then it will go block. You see that there is no way that both block 1 or block 2 both will be executed. Okay. So that one thing I skipped over here. So that if, so here you see that the condition here may be a complex statement. It can be a simple, but it can be a complex. But no matter what is it, either it is a simple or complex, your final result, the output here from here will be either true or false, nothing else. Okay. So I like you to practice this program, and before you execute your program, try to understand what will be effect of this, either true or false. Okay, write down in a piece of paper, then run your program and match your understanding with the computer result. Okay, if you practice this 5 to 10 times, then you will get better understanding. Okay, and so here the if, it has only one condition, right? If else has only one condition. If there are multiple condition independent condition, one after another, for instance, then we use if the first condition here with if the second condition here. Okay, the condition 2 will be here, and then 1 will be here, and then 3 will be here, and blah blah. And it else block does not have any condition, right? All condition goes with if or else. If there are multiple conditions, the first condition will go here with if, and the other conditions will go here. So these conditions are not nested. Okay, that means this condition 1 and condition 2 are independent. There may not be may have any relation, or maybe no relation between condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3. Okay. So one thing to remember, that only based on the condition, only one of these will be executed if the conditions are independent. So maybe sometime, okay, so here if is this condition is executed, it's true, then it will execute this and it will go out of the if block. Okay, so here are the block diagram of if else if statement. Okay, and we discussed that the else does not contain any condition, right? Else never contains any condition, and then the same previous problem was redefined, made a little bit complicated, and I asked you to practice this program. And the last one is switch statement I discussed. Switch statement is a different version of if, else if, else if, else if, else. Okay, but it is a little bit complicated, so you need to practice with statement. So switch statement, it works with a variable. You see the format, remember this format, and the variable must be declared before it is used. Okay, there is a mistake over here in the slide, so it is missing. We should have this create variable. Okay, so this variable, did I say variable? Okay, this variable. Okay, okay. So based on the value of this variable, either of the cases will be executed. If the value of this variable is 1 equal to 1, then it will be executed this block. Okay, and then it will go out of the switch. So it's end. What is the end? It's a end cases or end switch, whatever you say. End switch. Okay, so you see that the break here has an important role. The break statement has an important role. Break means whatever in general in English. What do you understand by break? When you drive the car, stop, right? So you understand, right? For instance, when you get a break, that means sense whatever stop my switch or checking other cases. Okay, but so whatever if you do not break, so what will happen? It will continue, right? Continue. Maybe you will see that there is another similar statement that says continue. So here continue is default. If you do not give break, the default is continue. Okay. Okay, so there is a difference between language to language, especially like C++, Java, and C#. Some languages allow to have optional break, to missing any break, but C# does not allow to have any missing break. Okay, C++ and Java allows, and also pseudocode allows. So in your pseudocode, if you are given a pseudocode in your test or anywhere, just first thing look at whether break is given or not. Sometimes you may find an intentionally missing break. Okay, so if the break is missing, in a program code in C#, it will give you an error. Okay, but it's a piece of paper, right? If you are given some code, and first thing you will check whether two things you will check. First thing you will check that if I ask you what are the mistake in this code. First of all, you should realize that there is no declaration of variable. You may imply that it is declared here, right? It is declared here somewhere here, somewhere up this. So this is not a complete program though. Okay, so first off, then you have to check whether the break is missing or not. If break is missing, then still if this break is missing, still it will go to the second case, even it does not match. Because sometimes there may be a condition that if one condition matches, other condition automatically matches. For instance, while checking our letter grade, for writing a code with a letter grade, checking a letter grade with if statement or whatever statement. So if your grade, for instance, even this one. So for instance, this one, let us go to the temperature check. So if my Fahrenheit temperature is greater than 90, greater or equal to 90, right? This is really hot, right? But if it is greater than 90, still it is greater than 80, right? True, right? And still it is greater than 70, still it is greater than 40, 30, 20, 10, right? So all other conditions, these imply automatically, right? Remember think that. So here, so in the for if statement, so if this is true, then it will not go to this statement, okay? But if you write this code otherwise, so for instance, if you write this one first, if you give this one first, this statement second, and this statement later, so your result will be different. Try this program at home, okay? So same thing with case statement. If you do not use break, that will happen. It will even check the other conditions. Okay. So this is the switch statement, and you see that those are switch statement is expression. It works with the message for with value. Okay. State of the values 1, 2, 3. So based on the values, it's just if you value equal to 1, then it goes to block 1. If it's 2, then it goes to block 2. Okay, and only it switches to only one of these blocks if there is a will return and with a break statement. So break is very important. Okay, in C# it is required, in Java and C++. Sometimes it is optional. Okay, and so the default block means if none of these cases match, right? Okay, for instance, that is equivalent to the else block. Else in else block, that if none of the condition match, then we execute the else block, right? That is in our default block. That is our default block in switch. Okay. So yeah, I asked this question, and if you are given a pseudocode like this, give attention that whether break is given or not. Okay, if is missing is break, then still you need to consider the next case, and your result will be substantial. So I like you to practice this program. Okay, that's it. I discussed in our last lecture. Now we have about 45 more minutes. Now I like you to practice. Okay, first of all, I like everybody to open your program, whatever you practice at your home, and I will move around, and I want to see that how much you practice, and I want to see if you have any issue, I want to help you. Okay. Yeah, please open your, and people who are in the back, please come forward. Can you hear me? Can you please come forward? And you please come forward. Yes, there are some extra spaces. Still, there are some extra chairs with social networking. Okay, so I'm having bad network quality. I'm not sure. Okay, please start, and let me see if there is anything missing over here, and let me see our schedule. Nested selection structure, module 3. Nested selection structure. Okay, still we have a week that we will discuss nested selection structure next week, but today I want to go with your problem. So anyone, people from the online has any issue? You can speak with me. Okay, for the next few minutes, I will move around. Okay, you may not hear me, but please keep practicing. Okay, from your side, please keep practicing. Okay, first of all, I like to see everybody's code for this one. Okay, if you understand this, then you will understand everything, right? If, else, if, and else. So here again, the read over here, you have to replace this read by some appropriate statements. Okay. Okay, if you want to share your program with me, so please raise your hand. That's good. There's column, right? You have to give column, right? What is the code function variable? Is here, right? That's good. Give the page number. Yeah, but if you still give page number, then easy, one after another. So it's a scanner, right? Okay, that's good. Good job. Do you have your own account directly? So check why Wi-Fi is not working. The Wi-Fi is not connected. So then it's connected. So why it is not working? Type replit.it. You know that replit repl.it. No, repl.it. repl replit.it. repl.it. Is working. So yeah, see, can you see the program code? You have an arrow, right? Over here. So what is there over here? No, we need to give that one. What is the error? Okay, using namespace is td see out. Did you copy and paste this code from somewhere? Loading, so what is the from C out? We even C out, not using namespace. Okay, the problem is here. You give line 1. Okay, awesome. Okay, need help? Okay, so Celsius class 32. If you expand your screen, then I this try again, then okay. Yeah, instead of read, you have to write code how to input data using keyboard. Internet is not working. Everybody is doing. So internet is working for everybody, right? Okay, so try to restart your computer. Are you okay? So here, on the point of read, what is the read? Celsius equal to read. So you have to replace that read by an appropriate input statement, right? This will be different in C++, C# and Java. Language to language, this code will be different. So as I told you, right, at this point we are in good shape to start working on the field of programming, right? I believe everybody has practiced the 15 program, about 15 program I asked you to practice for the last 2 weeks, right? If you have not done yet, this is the last week. This is the last reminder. You have to practice by this weekend. Otherwise you may not do well in the test. Yeah, you are supposed to write this code at home. When I gave you this as homework, you are supposed to write this code at home. Because I was telling you to do this for the last few weeks, right? Even in last lecture, I told you to do this. What else? Yeah, so the last class, even in any lecture, you are not here, so you are supposed to listen my video. I posted my lecture video, right? Do you know what I do? I post my lecture video. I will not tell you, but if you subscribe my YouTube channel, so then as soon as I post my video, then you will get a notification. But if you miss, I told you from the beginning, if you miss a lecture, I always try to upload my lecture video. Sometimes it may happen or sometimes it may not happen. At one time maybe I could not save the video. You don't know? Case over here? Yeah, keep it disconnect. Then connect automatically, click up. Connect automatically. Connect, click on connect. Okay. You have to give your net ID and password. So after the class, if you just go to the CSITEd, USID help desk, you know that? That is H building. H building is next to the CSE. Professor Algebra. So you need to go there, they will help you to get internet connection. Yes. Okay, so then you need to go to KSU UITS, IT help desk. They will help you to fix your issue. Yes, H building is for Henry. Next to, yes, H building the downstairs. UITS, or you can do Google search UITS, University IT Services. Yes. Check whether case is in uppercase or lowercase. So this is a good case. You should remember forever, right? Okay, that's good job. Okay, especially people who are taking C++ lab. You need to do more practice. Because coding C++ is a bit harder than coding in C# and Java. Okay? The older languages have a lot of different rules than the newer languages. Like C++ is one of the older languages. C++ is the academic language, academia. I learned C++ maybe about more than 20 years ago, about 25 years ago. So at that time, C++ was the best #1 language, or C and C++. Okay, but nowadays there are other languages, Java, C#, Python. Those languages are better. Okay, and easier to program with. But C++ has still is kept like popularity as one of the good languages. So system level programming. Okay, so if you want to write a device, if you want to write some code to handle a device, physical devices, like electrical engineers they do. Okay. So then you need to understand C++. Yes. You follow me after that. So anybody from online has any question?
All good, Professor.
Thank you. You remember that the beginning of my class I told you that I will teach you how to walk on the field of programming, right? This is the startup of our working. Okay? But so far I gave you about 15 programs to practice at home. So the 15 programs in all 3 languages, right? The 15 times 3, 45. Actually you need to write 45 programs. But easy, if you write in one language, converting to another language will take half of the time, right? So then you should be in good shape to start working on the field of programming, right? And ultimately, you have to learn how to run. You have to learn how to run on the field of programming in order to be succeeded in this course and in computing and programming. So in this course, you are getting your foundation, right? You are getting your foundation of programming. So try to understand the concept, read the book, okay? So in our lecture, we cannot discuss everything that are in detail in book. So read the book or sometime in other media, do the Google search if you are not clear about something, okay? And you see there are tons of programs. Thousands of programs written in online. Okay, do a search. Like for instance, if you do the switch example, do the switch example in Java, switch example in C#. If you do Google search, you will get a program. Okay. So try to understand the program and then write a program similar to that or something different. And ultimately, what do you need to do? You need to be able to write your own problem. Okay. You need to, in order to understand something, you need to be able to write a problem, even if it's simple. Start with a simple program. For instance, how to check whether a number is an even number or odd number. Okay, let us write the program. Okay, everybody please start that one if you are done. So we want to check whether the number, you will take an integer number as an input, right, in your code. The problem is that after that, you will take an integer number and then you will check whether this is an even number or an odd number. So there will be one condition, right? There will be if condition. In the condition place, you will check whether the number is even or odd. How do we check whether a number is an even number or an odd number? Yeah, if you divide it by 2 and then what? How do we check? Check the remainder. So we divide it by a number by 2 and check the remainder. If the remainder is 0, then result is the number is an even number, right? And if the remainder is 1, the number is an odd number, right? Okay, is there any possibility that if you divide a number by 2, then you will get a remainder 3 or 4 or 5? What are the possible remainders if you divide a number by 2? What are the possible remainders? 0 or 1. Yes, 0 or 1. Nothing else, right? It cannot be 2 because if it is 2, then it goes one more time. This remainder is 0, right? There are two conditions, either 0 or 1. If it is 1, remainder is 1, then it is an obviously odd number. And if the remainder is 0, then it is an even number, right? So write this program in all 3 languages. Okay, so this is my problem. I'm giving you to practice in all 3 languages. Write a program in all 3 languages. Okay, C++, C#, and Java that takes a user input of an integer number and displays whether the number is an even number or an odd number. So people who are online, you understand my problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please practice it, okay? Okay, so then listen to me. What's the lecture, the part of the lecture, the remaining English. Then you can go to the follow me, I will help you. Go to your ideas. Not here, when I leave, then you can follow me. When I leave, I will show you the base building, okay? Now stay here. Or you can write your code in a piece of paper. You have pen and pencil? Okay, practice there. Good. Can you please give the person Celsius 40? Wait, okay. E45. Okay, Fahrenheit is comparison, it's not working. E45 again. Is that here? It's not talking, right? Maybe it's working. Please. Anyone has that done? Who has done? Please raise your hand if you are done. Sorry. Let me see if I can give you another new program. Okay, so this is another program. This is a little bit is harder, but though you can do Google search. Codes written in Google, any example you will get. You will take an input, user input of a year like 2020, 2020, 2018, 2000, 2010, any take a integer number year, okay? A Gregorian year, and you will check whether that year is or a leap year or not. Okay. The straightforward way to check whether a year is a leap year or not, if it is divisible by 4, then it is a leap year, straightforward. But there are other conditions, complicated condition there. If it is divisible by 100 but not 400, or something like it, there is a difficult condition. So start with the simplest checkup condition, then go to the complicated or actual condition. Okay.
So we will be equal double. Yeah. Yes. You're mistaken in line number 7. I see the mistake. We will try to understand the mistake. It's easy. It's very mistake. What does this say? Yes, very line. Depends. And then I will have everything. Given the research now how to convert string, convert string to int. Or you can go to our previous code to see how to take it to system. So there it should be double equal. Anyone wants to show me? Thank you. No, there is not good order. This is the if number modular 2, get rid of this part. Beginning part, beginning part. No, line of difference. Okay, but after this number, delete it. 0, 0 slash equal 0. Yes. Equal, no, equal, 0. Then it's 0. Let's put this one. Anything that is equal. Then it's 0. So that your mistake is passing to the line number 11. Line number 11. Okay. So whenever you find the mistake, okay, listen to me one thing. So whenever you find a mistake, an error in your code, okay, so at this point it will show you a red underline. So remember that if you find an underline, for instance, you call it here, right? So remember that your mistake or error is on that line or above that line, not below that line. Okay, so your error here is showing the line number 11 is red, right? So this means look at the above line. Look at the line number 10. If the line number 10 is correct, what is missing in line number 10? Okay, good catch. Okay. So everything is not prepared, so go to the carving. Okay, so 2014. So problem, we have a problem in line number 11. We should have that in this intelligence. But you look at the code. So you have to do one more time. Something. Look at that logical. So at this point, let us do a quick survey. How do you like this course so far? Huh? Is easy or a hard course? An easy course or a hard course? William? That is a personal issue. The laptop issue, oh my God. Sorry, actually you did not practice. This is the very first time you are trying to practice. If you were to practice this previous time, for the last 2 weeks, right? That you would notice that you have your laptop has an issue. So I give you an example, very one example, like this class is like a coconut, right? Do you realize that really it is a coconut class? Coconut. You need to break out the coconut, right? You need to break out the shell of the coconut, then you will find its actual taste, right? So what are the breakout of those of this class? The 15 programs so far I did. Okay. So in our upcoming lectures, we will do like this. Although this is not a lab class, I will go through the slides, then I will give you some examples, then I will ask you to practice. Maybe at some time, maybe 15 minutes at least. Okay, then we will be good shape. So what I want everybody to practice programming almost every day. Okay? And the way is that to learn is that whenever you walk, okay, try to remember, recall the format. Even try to recall the format of each step. Okay? Even you try to write the format of each statement on a piece of paper without looking book or code, right? Okay? Then when you write it, then match it, grade it yourself. Okay, then if you find any mistake, then you will, most of the time you will be able to find a mistake. Okay? Then we have our tutoring center, right? You know that? You can go to our tutors. If you write your code, then he gives you error messages. Then they will help you to understand the logic. For instance, the algorithm. What is the algorithm for this two programs? The first program, in order to
The first problem here we discuss. Sorry, my mic is gone, so there is no battery here. So the first problem we discuss here, the algorithm is very simple, right? That we have to take a number, okay, input, user input, and to check whether it is divisible by 2. Okay, whether it is evenly divisible by 2. That means if then how do we check that? We need to use the modulus operator and to check if remainder is 0, then it will be an even number. If remainder is 1, that will be an odd number. So in order to write a problem like this way, you have to get your algorithm right away in your head. Okay, if you do not understand the algorithm, then what you need to jot down the algorithm on a piece of paper. You need to first write down the algorithm on a piece of paper, right? But if you right away can develop the algorithm in your head, ultimately we will be practicing to do that, right? Then you can start writing code. For instance, how to drive? What do we do? In order to drive from, I think everybody here knows how to drive, right? You also drive? Do you drive? You drive, yes. Okay, so how do we drive? Say drive, for instance. Before we start driving to location, we keep in our mind where we are going, right? Where we are going, right? We need to keep our mind, we need to know our destination, right? Then in a second or in a few minutes, maybe, even if needed, we do our GPS. Then we find out the destination point, and then we leave the destination point and we find the route. Then we start driving, right? Then we take a standard way. But if you do not know how to start driving, or how do not know the location, the destination, then do you like to do it like Google search or direction search on the highway while you are driving 60 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour? That is dangerous, right? Okay, and sometimes your destination is well known, then you will get your destination in a second. Sometimes it may take minutes. Okay, that depends on the problem. For instance, for this problem, your algorithm should be developed in your head within a few seconds or a minute, right? But for the next problem, that was a little bit difficult. It's okay that you develop your algorithm. It may take a minute or few minutes. Okay. Then start programming. Then it will be a piece of cake. You will find interest. Okay, we are almost at the end of this lecture today, and we are finishing this slide for this slide selection statement. And in our next lecture, maybe I do have a few more. I have a week, maybe, right? So then we will discuss in our next lecture. We'll discuss with some complicated programs. Okay, but this is my last reminder. If you have not practiced this program here, so far I gave you maybe about 20 programs to practice. These are our startup programs. Okay. If you do not practice this program, then it will be difficult for you to be succeed in this course. Okay. But if you practice this program, our future path will be very smooth. Okay. Anyone has any question so far? Okay, people from online, anyone has any question?
All good.
Okay, thank you so much, and you have a good day. Bye bye. So your one school grade will be dropped. Send me again. It was last time. Okay? No, no.
You asked me to set up the Wi-Fi thing, come on my laptop.
No, go to the UI test.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry? Yes. Yes. No, practice. No, practice. Yeah, but just put it in there. Yeah, I sent you an email. Okay. Yeah, what do you have? You live close to that? To that living? Okay. Okay, so this is the first time you are doing any like one project? Okay, so my clear policy is different. Okay, that let me tell you some.